Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Robin Abraham. I am Assistant Professor Pediatrics in Al-Azhar Medical College, and we in our Al-Azhar Medical College experimented with a new form of lecturing, which I would call as reverse lecture or flipped classrooms. So I want to discuss what we mean by what is called a reverse lecture. So give me a few minutes of your time, and I will try to tell you what it is all about. Okay, in my estimation, in my view, is that the Indian medical education is is flawed in these two aspects. Is that it encourages rote learning. The system is designed in such a way that you are encouraged to memorize, not to understand the concepts behind. This is one of I would say a very principled lacuna in our medical education system. And Indian society is very hierarchical. Probably it has something to do with the caste system in our society. We are always very conscious of our ranks. I am so and so person. You are so and so person. This this rank consciousness is reflected in the Indian medical education system. Is that our system is very hierarchical. So we need to change these two aspects. The reverse lecturing, in my view, makes an attempt to correct these two problems in the Indian medical education system. So, what is it? How do we do it? There's a cultural thing about India. There's a guru shishya, the guru, like for example, the Buddha. The Buddha is enlightened. He knows something, and he wants to teach you. Okay, so he's a teacher. It's more hierarchical. It's up there, you're down there. The facilitator is the Socratic approach. Socrates is the anti-guru. He would say that I don't know anything. Buddha said he's enlightened. Socrates says he doesn't know anything. And he would just keep on asking people questions. And through the questions, he would be making a point. But this is a very he's a facilitator for discussions. Basically, Socratic approach is a facilitator approach. It's less hierarchical. He's not a guru. And to be fair to Buddha, he also was a man who encouraged free thinking. He encouraged people to think for themselves. He didn't ask people to believe just because he said he wanted to believe in something. So I'm not trying to disparage Buddha here, but the culture of Guru and Shishya, the culture of the Guru being on the top and the Shishya being on the bottom, is actually coming into the Indian medical education system. I think the Indian medical education system should become Socratic in its approach. We should know, we should have the Socratic spirit more in our education system. Okay, now why do we need classrooms? I'll come with the questions. Why do we need them? Because we have so many online lectures on. Online lectures. Some of the online lectures are so wonderful with animations, and if you have a subscription to many online courses, you will see that you don't even need to go to a classroom and then have a lecture. You can have a very good quality lecture through videos. I mean, there's no need. So why do we need classrooms? I think that classrooms are great places because we are a social human being. We are a social species. We are not like tiger or anything, which we don't go around alone. We always are, together, and we want to be with each other. We are a social. Our brains work better when we are with each other. When we are with other human beings. Otherwise, we become lonely. We become depressed. So, teaching, what happens in the classroom is that it encourages you to interact with other human beings, and it is something that is good for our brain. And so classrooms will never become obsolete. You always the best learning experience is in the classroom. So ironically, a lecture negates this advantage that classrooms have. For example, why are lectures boring? So this is the problem. Lectures are boring because it's non-engaging. You're supposed to sit quiet in the lecture, listen to everyone, listen to the lecturer, the speaker, and not create a noise, obviously, because you will disturb the lecturer. So not a good thing. So you have to stay quiet and sit. So it becomes boring because you don't have anything to do, or you will writing notes. It's not engaging. The social function of the classroom is eliminated in a lecture. So it's boring. Okay. Second thing is it's teacher centered. Teacher centered is that the teacher determines the pace. Some teachers will go very fast, some teachers will go very slow. So some teachers may go very boringly slow. So because you are not determining the pace of the learning, because you're not in control, so your brain senses switch off. Forget it. So a second thing is lectures is full of information and so many information, blah 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 blah. As a student, it's new information for the student. They don't know how to capture that information. It's coming out in so much speed. Again, you switch it off. It's not engaging. It's the teacher is in control. You're not in control, and there's too much information anyway. मेरे सर के ऊपर से चला गया. And that's the thing about lectures. So it's boring. Now, what is in reverse lecture? We are using two principles here. Is that we are using what's called self-directed learning and peer learning. Self-directed learning. I mean, you look at the guy in the bike. Now tell me, can anybody in this world teach him to do that? He is riding the bike. He's doing this in a very difficult terrain because he taught himself. I mean, I'm sure somebody gave him the tips. Somebody told him the. I'm sure a guru is important. I mean, without a guru, he must. This guy on the bike must have had his own guru, and I'm not discounting that. But at the end of the day, this dangerous stunt he can do only if he teaches himself how to do it. That's all learning is like that. Everything that you know and do in life is because you taught yourself. Okay, a guru or a teacher can only help you in that. Okay, peer learning is something which is so underutilized. I mean, as a assistant professor, I've been assistant professor for 5 years. Most of the things that we learn is during rounds when our colleagues tell you something. Oh really, I didn't know that. Oh great, okay. You learn like that. You learn from each other. Peers teach you more than what you learn from your teachers. That's the truth. If you have a good peer interaction, if you're a loner, I don't know what to say. Okay, so if you're a guy or a person who goes in groups, you discuss, you learn far, far more from your peers than from your teacher. That's how it goes. So reverse lecture wants to use these things. Okay, so what we do practically, we did a few sessions in Mandazar Medical College. What we did was that we gave questions, written assignments. You have a topic, diabetes mellitus. You write certain short note questions based on that. So you refer your textbook. That's at home, not in the hospital, not at the college. Then we give 30 MCQs, which are of entrance questions. We ask them to discuss. So, and we did. And we discuss the MCQ with the facilitator. So first thing is self-directed learning is students write their own answers. Okay, they go and write their own answers. For example, we'll give a diabetes mellitus scenario, and then we'll ask management of diabetic ketoacidosis or complications of diabetes or insulin therapy, whatever. You can go and write and come back. Okay, so that's up to you. And you come back and with the written go. So you have self-directed learning. You opened your book, you read it, and you made notes. Okay, anybody can do that. Okay, so that's one thing. Then we give 30 MCQs are given in the classroom. Now, this is not how a classroom looks. I agree with that. And classrooms are more formal. In our medical college also, students don't sit like this. But I would encourage them to sit like this because in a classroom, there is no need for them to be in order. Order is not necessary. You are all together and you enjoy the coming together and talking to each other. You can use that social network, social being, social whatever, neural network that you have, and you can encourage that as an educational tool. Why? You can make education fun. So you give 30 MCQs and what I do is and I just leave the place. Okay, 30 MCQs, it's your problem. You open your book, you open your book, you look at for the answers, you discuss, you go from question 5, you can go to 10, you can get up from your room, you can do whatever not you want. Classroom is in chaos, that's great. So in 30 MCQs, now I will explain how MCQ is a great educational tool because it's engaging. First of all, you are engaging with the question. Okay, you have a DK, diabetic ketoacidosis scenario, which tells you that there is a bicarbonates are very less. All the scenarios, mucous membrane is dry, fluid order is there. When you read, anybody knows that this is a DKA. And if you study DKA, you know what is the next step. What are you supposed to do? So you all know, we all know. DK, the first step should be to give an IV fluid bolus with normal saline and all that. You give an IV fluid and then IV insulin. So when I write this question down to me and my colleagues, and so everybody gave the answer. This answer is D, IV fluid bolus with normal saline potassium. Now that is the wrong answer. That is what is fantastic about it, because there is one small tip that we all will miss, that if the potassium is more than 5.5, we are not supposed to give potassium, which is what D is telling you to give IV fluid with potassium, because you may not have noticed that the potassium of this patient is about 6.1. Now, what happens is that you can, in a discussion scenario, when you are discussing with your classmates, all of you may say it's IV fluid with potassium. Maybe one bright person in that group would say, no, look, you guys didn't notice the potassium is too high. How can you give potassium, man? That's not done. Oh, really? Why? The potassium, this is the guidelines, or this is what the book says, or this is what, whatever. Now, what happens is that this MCQ has encouraged a discussion among peers, okay, among peers, and that makes open book MCQ learning becomes more advantageous, because students decide the pace. If there's a difficult concept, you take more time to go through it, and patient students are challenged to think. So you're thinking of the problem. You're not. Nobody's telling you there's a decay. This is a clinical features of decay. Then you do this first. You give IV fluids. Then you do no. You are supposed to think. Why is it decay? Okay, what are you supposed to do? Okay, so you're involved. You're engaged. Second thing, this is encouraging discussion. So you're teaching yourself. One guy may be smarter. One girl may be smarter than the other. So the smarter person teaches the not the person who's may not be that sharp. Now the person who's teaching also learns. This, as Friedman, the famous physicist Friedman said, that if you want to learn something, teach. So if you teach your friends, you learn more. And facilitator, after 40 to 45 minutes, when all the 30 MCQs are done, they've discussed, they found the answers. The facilitator comes not as a guru, because the students already know what the topic is, what the subject is. And they are also more horizontal. You don't know much more than they do. You know, probably a little more, maybe not. You may not even be, if you're not well prepared for the class. Maybe you know the students know more than you, but the playing field is more definitely less hierarchical. Students already know, and this sort of teaching encourages a culture change, where the teaching learning is a shared objective, where you are all learning together. And so this is the advantage of this is a reverse lecture. So a reverse lecture means that you give them a scenario at home through WhatsApp. We send the scenario and questions through WhatsApp. There's a WhatsApp group for the students. They write at home. Many of the times we found that their answers are the same. So we know that the students are copying from each other. So anyway, that's all right. It happens. And then they write their own answers. So that's self-directed learning. And then they're not given MCQs beforehand, they're given MCQs later. So they discuss, and then learning happens. And then if you want, you can give a formal lecture, or you can master one of the students to present. That's up to you. Lecture can be avoided completely. Anyway, so a lecture can happen at the end. So this is an innovative session which happens every 1 week. Every week, one day is given for pediatrics and for MBBS students. So we give it on Wednesday, and so it's a 2-hour session, and you can have a lecture at the end. 1 hour for the MCQ and discussion, 1 hour for the lecture if you want, or we can get a student's presentation, whatever it is. Second, now another point is that with the reverse lecture, I would like to mention is that frequent examinations is a powerful educational tool, and we can conduct frequent MCQ exams. The advantage of that is that frequent exams, the routine normal MBBS exams, exam questions are very tiring for the facilitator, for the teachers, for the faculty to correct. Correcting MCQs is very easy. As a matter of fact, they can self-correct, or we can. It takes away a lot of. So you can have MCQ exams every month or every 2 weeks, and you can tell the students that this exam will be given to the university. Exam results, or the average of that, it will be marked in the internal exam for the university. So this will frequent exams will discourage students from studying at the last moment, which happens very common in our. Even I used to in my MBBS time. I used to study at the last moment. Last moment studying is so common. If you have frequent exams, you will be having those small topics covered. So at the end of the exam, when the exam is coming, you know the subject. Okay, and adult learning is always goal oriented. We adults, we forget that medical students are not chota bachas, they're adults. And if you tell them there's a advantage that you will have when you study, they will study. So when you say you have an exam and that you have to get good marks so that it goes to the university, there is a reward, punishment, reward. So they study. So with this idea, we have we can make these small changes in our curriculum. So that's why I made this video with the help of Zoom. Great website. I would encourage everyone to use that. It's a free website, and you can make videos, lectures on that website. There are tutorials also available. So I'm giving free advertisement to them. A great website. I'm so happy with this with the services. So thank you very much. And if you have any doubts or any feedbacks to give regarding this, please give me a mail at reverselecture@gmail.com. So I will stop my recording.